One.
I was like, what if she's not going to do it this time? So you know what I did this time? I definitely have you guys in this right place, but I forgot to switch over to the next overlay in terms of like the names.
Caleb.
I made them, but I just forgot to switch them out. So give me one
Every
second.
week, you only have like 75 jobs, and you can't do any of them.
I can only, there's only one every time that I don't. Oh, and of course, wow. Of course, in this overlay, I wrote Jordan as Gregor, not Ryan as Gregor.
Get it together, Caleb.
Gosh, I did it in the other one, in the Roll20 overlay. I put Ryan down, but apparently I just thought you were Jordan in this one. Okay, opening up Photoshop now.
Call me Jorgor then.
Jorgor.
Jorgor.
Yeah, I mean.
Or more gore.
One does not simply walk into Jorgor. Someone bumps into your character.
You know, I played as a barbarian before, and he was named Groth. Although I didn't know it was Grond in the Lord of the Rings. I thought they were saying Groth.
You're like, oh, that's me. Yeah. So anyway, while I pull up Photoshop, we're here with Terra Nullius side stories, and we're gonna continue with the story of Yi and Grett and Saori, and have a fine old time. Yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna get a lot of that tonight, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
No.
Moo.
And so, I'm sure if you're watching this, you know who Seth and Emily and Alyssa are. But who is this handsome man in the corner?
I'm Ryan.
Hello,
Man,
Ryan.
who's ever married to him must be super good looking too.
That humble.
I hear your wife's gift, like spiritual gift, is humility. Is that correct?
I'd say ask her, but you are her.
Oh, what?
Wow, the cat's out of the bag now, guys.
Couldn't even keep it a secret for a while.
Yeah.
I know.
Could have been
He's literally
revealed.
right behind this wall.
It could have been revealed. It would have been awesome if we had revealed, like, not only are Ryan and Alyssa married, but also, like, your characters got married off screen since the last time we played.
Oh, did you see what I did for my character's backstory?
I did not. I haven't had a chance to look at anything.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
I'm sure it will come out and play. I'm excited.
It could come
Saori
out.
is a monk. She's never gonna get married.
Well, she's not a monk anymore.
I mean, she still practices most of what she does.
I mean, if she meets the right person.
Well,
She just literally the only thing she rebelled against was like growing out her hair. She's like, I don't want to be bald.
Yeah. So both
Saori's not nearly as rebellious as
all of your characters have hair things going on.
Whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, so what we're gonna be doing today is we are gonna. So the thing is, this is like weeks later after the last side story, some amount of weeks, and Saori, you have managed to somehow wheedle your way to become the captain of a ship.
Woo!
So you're in charge of a ship now, which is super cool and something that Saori's been wanting for a while. But now the trick is you gotta keep it. Got to make sure that you protect your sailors, your guests, and the ship itself. So that'll be interesting, I'm sure. And of course, it's my job as a GM to constantly put all of those things in danger. So that'll be awesome. So I think the first thing I'm curious about is, how did Saori get this ship? How did that happen? Would you like to regale us with a short tale of woe?
I would love to. She took her gold that she got on her last little journey that you guys that we had rescuing Shayla, and she ended up essentially gambling her way to
like you do.
get the rest of the money. She found like a crooked like person who was like swindling people and their money, like, you know, playing like the tricks where like he like gets like the rock in his sleeve or whatever,
Yeah.
or like like cheats and whatnot, and she totally like bests him and like takes all of his money, and uses that money to buy a ship.
Cool. Well, good for you, Saori. Go ahead and take inspiration if you don't already have it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Easiest inspiration you ever got. So, because I know how difficult it was for some of the times you've gotten inspiration to try to come up with random crap about it.
She put her hair up because
Yep. Perfect.
just that one time.
It was there were a couple times.
That was just the worst one.
I just love like the moment where you're like, so Caleb, have I ever told you about? We all know it's gonna be good.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
We all know you have to make a big roll, and so you just anyway. So, so I think the first thing we see is we see a Pirates of the Caribbean style shot of the your ship, coasting along the waves of the Mediterranean. You're on the coast of Italy right now, and what's the name of your ship, Saori? That's another thing we need to know real quick.
Starlight.
Starlight. All right. Sounds good. So the Starlight is making its way through the Mediterranean, and right now, so obviously Yi is on board right now because you're taking her to Spain, but it's not like a terribly urgent trip, and so you've been doing some odd jobs on the side as you go along the coast of the Mediterranean, and earning some money here and there. Even though you won a lot of money in that gambling, you still have a little bit of you couldn't just buy the whole thing. You have a little bit of debt with one of the banks in the surrounding. There's like a payment you have to make on your ship. And you'll have to go back to I think it's Venice or something at some point and pay a banking plan. So you just kind of you're storing up some cash, just so they don't send debt collectors after you. But you have a large majority of it paid off, so you're in a good shape. But yes, you're taking Yi and you've been doing some odd jobs. Grett, so why did you come along?
Grett just loves the adventure with his friends.
Okay. All right.
Oh man, I forgot about Grett.
Yep.
Just
Oh,
how Grett he is.
How Grett he
You
is.
cannot forget about Grett. He will not let you.
It's true.
Wow.
So Grett just decided to tag along with Saori and Yi because he had nothing better to do. I mean, how do you top saving Shayla from an island fortress? I mean, that was a pretty cool thing that you did. So.
This is much better than bathing orphans.
Than bathing orphans?
Bathing orphans.
Is that what you said?
Maybe. It's the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay, is that what
I
you
don't
did?
know how I feel about
Were you
that.
Do I
from a
need to worry
monastery,
about-
orphanage?
I'm
Do I
a
need to worry about
cleric.
that, bathing children. Don't they usually give that to a woman to do?
I don't know. I just.
I mean,
It's
it's
the
canon
first
now.
thing-
It's canon
Women
now.
are supposed to fly.
I don't know what's going on.
It's the first thing that popped
Yeah,
in
that's
my
what we're
mind.
questioning, Seth. Is why it was.
Why
the
is
first
that
Why
the
is
first
that the
thing?
first thing?
Because I'm tired.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I get that.
You weren't there the other day for magical chicken nuggets. I mean, I've said weirder.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Grett's kind of
okay.
tagging along. So Ryan, why is Gregor here? Where does Gregor show up in this story?
Boy, well, I had me cave, and it was a mighty cave. I found many wonders, but I've had a lot of thieves come in and try to steal my goods that I've taken from my cave, and over the years, just kind of protecting me and my people. I've been recruited by a king that I've never heard of to go and help out in a far-off land that I'm just on my way to that king right now.
Would that
I
king
don't know how
ever
to
be the
swim
king
now,
of?
so I'm kind of scared.
Is there a particular king?
It should be Lord Navarro.
Well, so no, I actually. Oh, why did it? I don't know why my alarm is set for 7:40 p.m. What? I have no idea why there's an alarm set for 7:40 p.m. right now.
Wake up.
Yeah, apparently. I have some ideas about what king you actually might be going to see, but we'll talk about that later. Cool. Yeah, I have some ideas. Anyway, so so you're getting passage as well then on the Starlight?
Yes.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Okay, so I think to kind of like set the initial situation up, we see as we get this coastal shot of the Starlight kind of making its way through the Mediterranean, we see some people milling about on deck. We get a zoom in to the people on deck. We see people milling around. We see Grett and Yi and Saori and Gregor all kind of doing their own thing. So Saori is captaining, right? So what do we see from Saori as she's on the ship?
Saori is a very happy-go-lucky captain, as you can imagine. She has her very serious moments, as we've seen from her, but for the most part, she's a pretty happy-go-lucky monk.
Caught an arrow like a boss.
Right. But she's talking to her first mate, I think, about where they're going, and you got some exposition going on right now, as far as
sure,
we're on our way to Spain, and we're doing this job right now, and
sure, yeah. So your first mate is a human male named Klaus Weiderman, and he's a Germanic human. He's maybe distantly related to Grett. Who knows? But the Klaus.
I'm so sorry for him.
Yeah, I think we see Klaus kind of stand up next to you, and Klaus is a good-looking man. He has long flowing brown hair, and some slight like pretty boy facial hair, right? And
is he the one who they used for the covers of all the book club books?
Honestly, he would be the exact same sort of person.
Book club that is no more.
Yeah.
R.I.P. book club.
Yep, R.I.P. book club. Anyway, so we see Klaus stand up to you, or stand next to you, and he kind of looks out over the horizon, and he asks expositionally, so why are we going to Spain again?
Well, my friend Yi, she needs passage there, and whatever. She said that she's not paying me much, but I mean she's a friend, so it's a favor really more for her than anything else.
I hate Spaniards.
Yeah, but it's the adventure of it, Klaus. Come on, you came aboard the ship because you said you wanted adventure, so we're going different places. Come on.
You're right. No. What am I saying? I don't know. I'm gonna go over here, and he just walks away. He seems a little flustered by something. He's stuttering and not knowing what to say.
Can I roll insight?
Yeah, sure.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Can indeed.
All right. Well, Saori is not a very she's wise, so what I get. Nope.
Yeah. You have no idea what's going on.
Well, that was weird.
Yeah, she just that was weird. Way to ruin the mood.
Right. Okay, so I think I just go around and start talking to other crewmates, making sure that they're good, and
sure. Yeah, so I think we see you walk over to Yi. And Yi is what's Yi doing when Saori walks over to you?
So I'm not really comfortable in the water, and I'm trying to face my fears. So I will have periods of time where I walk onto the side of the ship, and I'm just facing the water. So I'm literally facing my fears, standing on the side of the ship.
Right.
And I do it for longer and longer periods of time, and then we'll get back on deck.
So I think Saori comes behind Yi and gently pushes her back.
Right. you want to make a stealth check, Saori?
Sure.
See if you can sneak up on Yi. And Yi, you want to make a perception check?
Oh, nope.
No one sneaks up on Yi.
So maybe like I try to like push her, and then she like moves out of the way, and I just like trip a little bit forward on the railing.
Yeah, we see Saori.
No,
do,
I'm
the-
like literally on the side of the ship. Because
Oh,
I have
right,
my
I
slippers
forgot
and
you have
spider
spider
climbing.
climb boots. Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
Right.
So I
never
literally
mind
like walk and I'm parallel to the water as I stare at it.
then. Okay, then never
so-
mind. Saori wouldn't
Right,
have done that
right.
then.
So maybe Saori like just like goes over to like look over the side of the ship and then just like looks down and like sees Yi like standing horizontally, just like staring at the
Staring.
ocean. Yeah,
I have to face my fears somehow.
yeah.
Like, Yee,
What?
come up here.
2 more minutes to beat my record, and then I can come back.
Saori just like shrugs and just like looks out at the ocean like, ha.
All right.
So then in 2 minutes I walk back and I'm like kind of pale and sweaty. Don't
Right.
look super great,
Weak
but I
arms
did
are
it.
heavy.
I don't have a
Mom
mother,
spaghetti.
so we can't make that joke. He has no mother.
So we see that from Yi and see so Saori goes off to talk to like another crew member, and then we the camera like kind of goes through a wall or something, goes to wherever Grett is. Where's Grett?
Oh, Brett's actually outside, as well, just kind of because Grett has not had many adventures. He has mainly been stuck in the church doing menial tasks. So he is sitting.
Such as bathing
in-
orphans.
He's standing outside on the edge of the boat, just standing in the wind.
All right. Standing dramatically into the wind. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
just standing there,
Feeling the
enjoying
breeze.
the wind in my hair.
Is the
Someone just needs to like come up behind him and just like hold. And then you
Is
just need to
the-
put your arms out.
is the boat rocking at all, or is it pretty smooth right now?
It's so it's a little bit of a stormy day. Not like in an actual storm sense, but like it's a little overcast. There's a bit of a wind. It's kind of dark, getting
It's
towards
an
dark.
adventure.
It's such adventure.
Yeah. So we see Grett doing that. And then where is Gregor? What's Gregor doing?
Oh man, I'm in the very center of the boat near the mast. I am
Okay.
nervous as heck, just being
Yeah.
not on ground, and I'm like just holding on to the mast, just kind of looking around and just nervous, like something's gonna happen.
Sure.
Like it's gonna happen all of a sudden. I just have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, maybe you see Yi like walk up from the side of the ship and like she's like really pale and sweaty, right? And she like walks past you and you're just like grabbing onto the mast.
I'm like, what do I have? I have one of my weapons. I have my war pick in one hand. And I'm like holding onto the mast, like kind of facing her, like don't know what the heck to expect. So it's very, very.
Yeah. So I think Klaus kind of like walks over to you, Gregor, and says, "Never been on a boat before."
Are you kidding? No. What? I'm not meant to be on the water. I'm meant to be on the dirt.
Yeah, he kind of like nods to himself. He says, "Well, we'll be stopping at the monastery soon. It shouldn't be that long."
How soon? I'm not. I have not felt good since I've been off the ground. How much longer?
Well, it depends on the wind and the rain and whether or not some sea monster comes and eats us all. But
Uh-oh.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
given
We're gonna die, guys.
Sea monster?
oh, forget I said that part. I would say no more than a week
A week? Where am I supposed to sleep?
in the boat.
Like right
He's,
here?
like, just
There are beds. Has someone not shown you to your room yet?
I've been here for hours.
Well, here, Gregor, come with me. I'll show you where to a bunk.
I don't pick up my feet. I'm literally dragging my feet as I walk.
Right.
Doing like that sort of thing.
Yeah. So he kind of like leads you away and it kind of shows you. Do you just follow him then to where he showed you?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, he takes you into like, I guess I didn't make a drag a token out for him, but he takes you into like this side room over here.
Is there a map?
There should be a map. Maybe you guys can't see.
It's all black to me.
Is it all black?
Yeah,
All
same.
right.
Black.
I can't see it. Gret is blind.
Man, I hate it when I accidentally do that.
Good thing I have dark vision. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me just undo all of this lighting.
Oh, also random question. I have a red potion in my inventory that I was not able to identify last time. Would I have been able to identify it by now?
Probably, but unfortunately, I don't remember what it was.
It was in the bag of holding that I found.
It's in the bag of holding that you found. I'm trying to think of what I would have had a red.
It just
potion
says
be.
one red potion.
One red potion.
I'm guessing it's either a healing potion or a potion of fire breath.
Yeah.
Cherry Kool-Aid.
Let's say it's a potion of greater healing.
Ooh, okay.
Nope.
So, can you guys see the map now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Gregor Klaus kind of leads you into this room over here, and so as he leads you in, so this is where we're getting like a little bit of exposition. All of your characters know this, but now we're starting to see like what the job that you've taken is exactly. Besides transporting Yi and Gregor, you guys walk into this like room full of bunks, and so you see a couple like sweaty sailors, but you also see a group of 8 monks. Some of them are like quietly contemplating, like praying, just kind of like sitting on their bunk. And
Monks on bunks.
Monks in the bunk.
Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss's newest children's book.
The monks on the bunk. Yeah.
Mean to read that one.
Yeah.
Trunks on trunks are lunks.
Yeah. But so we see like 8 of these monks, and Klaus kind of like leads you to one of the empty bunks. So there are like, it's actually probably like hammocks. So there's like 3 like layer or like 3 separate like layers of hammocks on either side. So there's like 3 kind of top to bottom. And so there's some sailors in them, there's some monks in them, and so he leads you to one, and that's like apparently empty, and he says, "Well, you can take this hammock here."
Is it on the top or bottom or middle?
It's on the very top.
I'm like, aye. Whoever's on the bottom, like, aye,
Okay, so there's like a monk like just kind of like praying to himself.
aye. Does he just keep meditating, ignore me?
Yeah, he seems to have like he doesn't even react at all.
Hi,
What? Yes?
can I have that bunk?
Yeah, so the guy looks up, and we can see that this is an Azamar. These monks are Azamar. They're like Latin. And so this guy with like he's like looks like very like heavenly, almost like an angel. So he has like silvery skin and like this like coppery hair, that kind of like flows down on either side. He has pretty long hair. When he kind of like looks up at you and he says, "Can you have my bunk? I don't understand."
Yes, you could take the top one. I just want to be closer to the ground. You see, I'm not used to the sea.
Ah. And he kind of like actually like sees you for the first time, kind of like looks you up and down. He says, "Are you one of the dwarven tribes then?"
Aye. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Nothing in particular. It's fascinating to. I've studied some of dwarven culture, specifically of the Hunnic variety. Many of the dwarves ended up just staying in Europe when Calvitus Neximus and his minions entered Europe. Anyway, that's a story for another time, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, he kind of like shakes off like he was gonna go into some like nerd story sort of a thing, right? Like, let me tell you about this thing, but he realizes you're not like probably not paying attention. And he says, Well, so you want my bunk then?
Yes, if you don't mind, you can take my bunk, which is the top one, just up.
Go ahead and just make a persuasion check. Let's just see. Let's not like this guy's gonna be like, no, never. But just I'm curious how
That a
charismatic you are.
What
Just,
is
just click.
Should just be able to
perception.
click on persuasion
Where did my
Okay.
on your skill list there.
I'm gonna find it. Where the heck is it? Oh, there it is.
Oh dang!
There we go.
Whoa,
Nice.
Gregor is so persuasive. Yeah,
Yes.
He
so
embroiders your name on the hammock for you before you get in.
yeah, so I think what he says is he kind of like smiles at you, right? Like kind of beatifically. And again, like all Azamar are like very like handsome and comely, and everybody like when you just kind of like look at them, you automatically are just like, man, that guy's like he just seems nice. Or at the very least like otherworldly. And so he kind of like smiles at you and he says, "Of course. I don't mean to be an inconvenience. I'm sorry that I took so long to here. Let me stand up." And he just like kind of gets up and he kind of like moves like his like stuff. So he had like a little like pouch just kind of like resting next to him, the hammock, and he kind of moves it and sets it to the side. And he says, "Would you like me to pray over the hammock for you?
Sure.
Bless your sleep."
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, and he starts to just kind of like pray, kind of like Gregorian chant style, right? Like over the hammock, and he I think some of the other monks like kind of notice. It's like this weird scene. It's kind of like the scene of the dwarves singing in The Hobbit. Like each like one of they start like joining in one by one, and they do this like weird kind of mystical Gregorian chant style. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to make a religion check to see if you know what the heck is going on?
Sure. Oh man, there's no way I'm gonna get this, but yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, -2.
Do you speak Celestial?
I don't even know if I gave myself. I definitely want to give myself Celestial as a.
Okay,
language.
yeah, I didn't think so, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're definitely like speaking in Celestial, which it sounds strangely like Latin, in this context, but yeah, so you don't know
great.
what in the world's going on. So they're just like, I don't know, doing some weird chant over your bunk. Who knows? These Christians are weird.
I feel calmed by it because it's distracting me from being on a boat. You know?
Right, you kind of get wrapped up in the song.
Yeah.
Just kind of the tune. And I think it actually kind of reminds you of like some of the dwarven like mining chants, right? Like when they just kind of like focus on like the rhythm of the pickaxe, like 1 stroke, 2 stroke. It's very like calming and relaxing. Kind of reminds you of that. Yeah. So they kind of finish, and the guy kind of like bows to you. Kind of puts his hands in his robe, sleeves, monk style, and kind of just walks away. And he says, "I'm going to get a bit of fresh air. I hope that you can find a good night's rest." And then he kind of like turns back, as if like remembering something. And he says, "What was your name, by the way?"
It's Gregor. What's yours?
Huh. My name is. I have no idea what his name is. Give me 1 second.
I don't know.
Oh no, Emily, what have you done?
Hi.
I've ruined it. I've
You
ruined
ruined
it.
it.
That's what I did. Okay,
it's
come on.
fine.
There we go. I'm flipped back.
Give me a second. I'm switching the videos around. He says, my name is Clement.
Clement.
Yeah.
Oh.
He kind of nods and just
So-
like walks off.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So, what do you do? Do you just like try to go to sleep, or?
Yeah, I'm just kind of like wrapped up in
Yeah.
what was taking place. I'm just kind of thinking about it.
Sure.
So
sure.
I'm not even aware that I'm on a boat anymore. I'm just kind of
Right. Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So make a wisdom save for me, Gregor.
Wisdom save. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the rocking of the boat kind of seems oddly comforting now. Like you're not sure why you were worried about it before, but the rhythm of the song kind of just still is filling your mind, and it just kind of seems to like synchronize with the rocking of the ship. And I think before you know it, you're just out. You're just like out cold, just like in peaceful slumber. Cool.
I had my pickaxe. I fell asleep.
Yeah, just like holding.
Because we used to sleeping like on dirt, like ground.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So I think we cut out to the outside of the ship, or the like deck again, and we see the crew kind of just like getting ready for like the night's watch, right? So where we're kind of the people are settling down, the night shift is kind of waking up and coming over, and it's starting to get darker. So your job, Saori, currently is you picked up these monks from like a city down the coast. They were on some sort of pilgrimage. I think they were on a pilgrimage to Rome, actually, to Roma, and you're taking them back to their abbey. So their abbey is called this is an actual abbey, and I forgot to bookmark what this abbey was called. Give me 1 second. Santa Maria. It's something. It's like Santa Maria something. Let's see. Abbey. Let me look this up. Here we go. It's the Santa Maria dell'Isola. But it's just like the I believe that just means like something along the lines of the Abbey of Santa Maria, of like Saint Mary. You're basically just tasked to bring them back to their home.
All right.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Alive?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would. Yeah, that's the assumption, right? But I think, Saori, I think you've been getting rumors, right, of like some dangerous creatures in these waters. Like legit, you have been. Like Klaus wasn't just spouting nonsense. Like, there's been rumors of ships being sunk along this coast. So it's a little. You got paid a pleasant sum for this because the monks knew that not just anyone was gonna go along this stretch of coast right now. So you guys are making your way down. What do you guys do like tonight? Are you guys going to bed? Or when are you staying up in the night? What does your schedules kind of look like when you're on the ship?
Do we set a watch?
There's a bunch of other sailors for that. Like, I don't think Grett,
Okay.
or Saori would have to do that if they didn't want to.
I think Grett would stay up for like one watch just because he's excited and he really wants to
Yeah, sure.
see something happen. But he goes to bed after 5.
Sure.
I think Saori is probably up later than most people, just because she's like just so excited to like be captain of a ship, and she just wants to like make sure everything's going smoothly. And
Sure.
she likes to see at night, because it's usually a little bit, because it's either like way calmer or way more dangerous. So either way, she likes to be out there because when it's calm, it's really peaceful and nice, and then when it's dangerous, she can like help and make
Yeah,
sure that
sure.
everything's going smoothly.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So I think she's probably either like at the bottom of the mast or maybe even up at the watchtower, like with somebody.
Okay. Yeah. I think. I think you're probably. Yeah. We
Or
can
maybe
say.
I'm at,
Yeah. Go
or
ahead.
maybe I'm at the wheel. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you could be at the wheel. Yeah. I think. I think that's where we see Saori. We see Saori at the wheel. And like you've been noticing that there's like a storm brewing all day. And you're. Like, it doesn't look like too bad of a storm, like bad enough that you would want to like take shelter in a cove or something like that. It just maybe looks like a little bit of a flurry. But I think, you're probably like, okay, I want to stay up a bit and make sure that everything goes smoothly here. I'm not going to just like, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep anyway, sort of thing, right? Yi, or what are you doing?
I think I would have just gone to bed.
Just gone to bed? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Saori, after everybody else has basically gone to bed, of the people who aren't like your sailors that are in the night shift, you're kind of like at the wheel, just kind of like solemnly looking over the Mediterranean, and it's it hasn't quite picked up yet, but you can see like a dark bank of clouds on the horizon. It's kind of coming towards you, and you're kind of getting a little worried about it. But I think what happens is one of the monks, I think the same monk that Gregor was talking to, kind of comes up on the part of the deck that you're on, and he kind of walks over to like the side of the ship, kind of like parallel to where you are, and just kind of like looking out over the ocean, and he kind of just like stares off the ocean for a little while, but then kind of like looks back at you, like catches your gaze, and he like kind of like bows. He says, "Captain."
What was his name?
Clement. This is the leader of the monks.
Right. So I just go. I nod. I go, Clement.
Yeah. So he kind of like he seems to be like contemplating something. He kind of like turns back to the ocean and then thinks better of it and like turns back to you again. Like he's kind of like thinking back and forth as to whether or not he should say something. But he says, Captain, I'm curious. Are you a religious woman?
Religious?
So question actually for me as a GM, does Saori have like any markings that would mark her as like a monk of the particular order that she came from? Anything obvious?
Probably. I would assume she has some kind of like maybe like a tattoo like on her shoulder.
Sure.
I'm trying to think what that would be. Let me think on what the marking would be. But yeah, she has something on her arm.
Sure. So I think yeah, so he kind of like points to it, right? He says, I noticed that was a symbol of and now this is another question that he would know the answer to this, and so he's going to say like what religion this is from. He like recognizes whatever this tattoo is. But what is the religion that you come from? Like I mean, Japan normally has like in this time period, I believe it's like Buddhism and Taoism and Shintoism. I'm curious as to what kind of religious belief Saori has.
I would assume it'd be kind of Buddhist, but sure. I don't know that Saori necessarily like. She mostly just believes in inner peace.
Right.
Like that's like her main gig, which I mean is basically like is kind of like Buddhism.
Right. That's the thing, right? Like I mean, Buddhism and like Taoism, the religions like that are much looser than we would assume Western religions normally would be, right? Like they're not very structured. Mostly it's just like a belief in the universe, right? Like as a force. Yeah. So yeah, it would make sense if you're Buddhist by default, but not necessarily in like super zealous about it or whatever, because most Buddhists aren't. In those
so
situations.
That probably makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So sure, most Buddhists wouldn't be killing people.
It depends on what kind of Buddhism, but yeah. Yeah, sure. So he basically like I think he says even particularly like the whatever particular sect of Buddhism that your like monastery practiced. He says, yes, whatever type of Buddhism, insert Buddhism here. And like he seems to know what he's talking about, like, and most of the people in the West, they don't know anything about any of this stuff. So he seems remarkably informed. He says, I noticed this. Like, are you? Trying to think of how he phrased this question. Yeah, like, are you particularly zealous of your faith?
Well, I left the temple for good reason. I would say I still practice. Obviously, I meditate every day, just as I'm sure you do, and a different form, I'm sure. But I tend to think that life should be more about adventure, and while my temple tends to think more of the group as a whole, I tend to think more individualistically. That one's happiness is also equally as important as the group's happiness.
Interesting.
But my group did not see it that way. They saw that we should be completely selfless and not think of our own happiness. that our happiness came from making others happy. I did not share that agreement.
Yeah, he nods like solemnly, like he understands. He says, yes, I've heard of this sort of ultra-altruism. The belief that one's only purpose in life is to serve others, and that if you take care of yourself in any way, you're somehow sinning. It seems rather silly to me. I mean, the Lord's command is to love your neighbor as yourself. How can you love your neighbor if you cannot love yourself?
She just shrugs and like
Yeah.
keeps like driving the ship.
Yeah, he kind of does one of those like, kind of like smiles, like, all right, I see that you're not really paying attention, but I'm just gonna be like a little polite here and just be like, smile beatifically at you.
Am I trying to get? Is he trying to convert me right now? Is that legit what's happening?
I mean, he's just silent. He's kind of like smiling at you.
God, what was his name again? Clement?
Clement, yeah.
Clement. Well, thank you, Clement. I appreciate your understanding.
Kind of nods to himself, like he expected this. He says, I'm not one much for evangelism, I can tell. Well, I will be praying for you, Saori, as I pray for all of God's children. Please, if you would like to discuss religion at any time, I am always available. There's not much else to do on a voyage such as this. And then he kind of like looks back over the ocean.
And she, like, in her head just goes,
What was that about?
Not much to do. We're on a boat. Like, there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think she sees because I think she's mostly focusing on the storm clouds, and maybe that's why she's, like, so distracted. I think normally she would be engaged in conversation.
Yeah.
But she's just kind of like, no, I see something going on over there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we just keep seeing Saori, like, look back at the clouds, right, while she's talking to the guy. And then you focus back solely on them now. And go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Here we go. I was honestly expecting that. Are you religious? Because you're about to get eaten. This monster.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, so I think you're just, I think you hear his words kind of just like playing over and over again in your mind, and you're just really like distracted by them. You just, something about them bothers you. You're not sure why. Maybe something about his attitude or specifically the way he spoke. You're not sure. Something was off. And so I think you end up not paying attention as much as you should. And go ahead and make a... Let's see. Let me just look at your character sheet. What did we decide that, like, boat things were? Do you have, like,
or like navigation?
Do you have a proficiency in water vehicles?
I do.
Yeah. Let's have you make that proficiency check.
Okay, using what attribute?
Using intelligence.
Of course, I have -1 to intelligence. Let's use intelligence.
That's
Okay,
not too bad.
not
Not too bad. Yeah. So I think basically it starts to pick up. The storm does. And you maybe think like, okay, if I would have kind of noticed the pattern earlier, I might have been able to steer us in the right direction, but I definitely didn't. And so it starts to like pick up. The waves get a little higher. The wind gets a little fiercer. And then it starts to rain. And this is the sort of icy cold rain that just soaks you down to your bones and makes you feel as if you'll never be warm again. And so it's just not very pleasant. Like we see the sailors start to like snap into motion, and they're like, hoisting the sail the way it's supposed to go. They're just making sure that all the rigging is working well. They're making sure that one of the guys is like looking at the sail and making sure that like if the wind picks up too fierce that they just like drop the sail, because otherwise it's just gonna like rip off. So that everybody starts to go into motion, and we see Saori at the helm, doing Pirates of the Caribbean style, awesome navigating by the wheel in the pouring rain. And I think what happens is we get a shot of Grett and Gregor. They're like in hammocks next to each other, and a flash of lightning just like goes across the sky. We see it like flicker on your guys' faces and illuminate you for a second, and then the clap of thunder just like follows it, and suddenly you're both just like wide awake, like you're so super wide awake. And you can sense that the boat is rocking, that there's like a fierce wind and rain is just like suddenly like overpowering your ears, and you hear like sailors shouting as their voices are like lost in the wind. Yeah, suddenly you're aware that you're definitely in a storm.
I would like to say as they wake up, they see the lightning. Like, can they see the lightning from in there?
Yeah, I think there's like a little like porthole. Yeah.
Okay, so I want them to see like the silhouette lit up by the lightning of ye sleeping on the ceiling like a bat.
Wouldn't the like blood like rush to your head though?
I mean, I feel like there's probably a way to like mitigate that somehow. I feel like there's maybe, I don't know. We'll have to look that up, but for now, sure, yeah. Yeast like sleeping like a bat on the ceiling. Yeah, so that's creepy. What do you guys do?
Grett not see her because Grett hears the thunder and lightning, and Grett gets excited, and Grett runs to the whatever you call the ship, the top of the ship, wherever they ever
deck.
The deck. Thank you. Grett runs to the deck, and he is very excited to help us the adventure.
Yeah, and as nervous as I am, just the adrenaline rush, I immediately bolt outside to see if there's something I can do as well to help.
Yeah, sure. So you guys walk out into the pouring rain. And yeah, there's sailors like running this way and that. Yeah, are you just like fast asleep still?
I think I would have woken up and
you woke up much less like startled than everybody else.
Yeah, and I just kind of calmly walk down to the ground and make my way up top.
Cool. My mom says hi, by the way, in chat, Emily.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so we see the three of you kind of like make your way there, and yeah, you're suddenly soaked to the bone. Like, snap of a finger, you're just soaked. It's pouring down buckets. And yeah, so the sailors are running this way and that, just like calling orders to each other. You're standing there feeling like really useless, like you're not even sure what's going on, like what they're doing. They're yelling out terms that you have no idea what they mean, like, you know, hoist the mainsail, all this stuff, like and like a lot more even specific jargon than that, like stuff that you have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Watch the starboard.
Yeah.
Grett's gonna cast light in the darkness, so he can be a help.
Poetic.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll cast light on his. What do I have again?
Your mace.
Mace. So it's like a giant.
Yeah, big old torch. Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah.
Big old torch.
Sure. Yeah. So you light that up, and yeah, I think it doesn't help maybe as much as it would if it wasn't raining, because rain often obscures a lot. But it definitely helps a bit. And so I think one of the sailors, like, who's running past, like, kind of like nods in thanks at you, Gret. And so you're just kind of like holding it. So you're like holding it, like going to like different places where everybody's working and making sure like you're shining light on what they're working on. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Gregor, what are you guys doing?
I'm kind of baffled. Like, I want to help, but I have no idea what to do. There's like people running around. And I'm just like, I want to grab something and like do something that I could use my strength to help with, but there's like nothing for me to do.
Okay, sure. Yeah, make a perception check. Let's see if you can like notice a task for you to help with. Yeah, I think you see some sailors like doing one of those like heave ho, and like, you know, pulling a rope. Like I have no idea what they're doing.
Pulling the rope to pull the mast a certain way or something.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. We've reached the extent of my knowledge of boats, so
like all three terms.
Yeah, all three terms. Yeah.
You haven't used gangplank yet.
Well, we haven't had a mutiny yet, so yeah.
Yes.
You see that, and yeah, you run over, I guess, and then like try to help them.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a strength check.
Cool. Strength.
Emily.
Oh, did it? There we go.
Yeah, you did it again. How dare
Oh yeah. Why is it making my videos stop?
I'm making your videos stop so I can reorder them because
Sorry.
it has to be in a specific order. It's all right.
Got it.
It's all good.
That was just from looking at a notification on my phone. It stopped it. Ugh, how rude.
Yep. Whoa! Holy crap! You got a crit on that strength.
Dang.
Really ripped the rope.
So
I mean, well, that's the
strong.
thing, right? Like, I think like maybe a fail on that would have been like you do something to damage it, but I think you're in perfect control here. You know exactly what you're doing, and you help them do exactly what they want to do.
I like pull it, and the guy's like hanging. He's like being pulled with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think what ends up happening is you're just holding it yourself, and then the other sailors are like, we don't even like we're not doing anything. It's like, I guess we'll just go do something else then to help. And so you're there like holding this rope.
All right.
Cool.
He
Yeah.
got his sea legs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you feel like maybe a sense of exhilaration, Gregor, right? Like you're like, okay, I kind of see what this ship thing is about. Like, all right, I can do this. So Saori,
Yes.
you're holding on for dear life here on the mast. It's just like spinning. You're trying to like crank it back. The wind is tossing you this way and that. But you know the help of your friends is definitely helping you not run into something. You're not entirely sure where the coast is at this point. You're pretty lost. You're not sure what anything is within 100 feet of you. Like after that, it's like who knows? It's water. The world is just a water everywhere. Yee, what are you doing in this?
I feel like I can do nothing helpful in this situation. Nobody needs anything unlocked. I don't need to lie to anybody.
Yeah, lie to the storm.
Yeah, and feel like I'm just kind of useless.
Roll persuasion against the clouds to make them go away.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I sleight of hand put the clouds up my sleeve?
No, you cannot do that.
Can you just like open the bag of holding and just like put it all in there?
Can I take 500 pounds worth of cloud and put it in my bag of holding?
There's like water rushing. Just nope. Pick it all up.
Oh man, you could like very easily bail out water with a bag of holding. It would just be like a vacuum. You just like, oh, that'd be awesome.
You all right, Alyssa?
Yeah, I'm good. Just my phone just is dying, so I had to go get my charger.
Using your phone. Interesting.
Yeah, well, because our internet sucks, honey.
I mean, I guess I could. Should I roll a perception to see if there's something I can help with?
Sure, yeah.
I
Mhm.
feel like
Makes
there's
sense.
not really. Nope.
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
don't know what I can help with.
Yep. So you're just standing there, like soaked to the bone.
Yeah, I mean, I
Back
think I'm
inside
gonna
for
go
sure.
back below deck
Uh
because
huh. Yeah.
I'm just getting wet at this point, and there's no reason for that. I'm gonna go warm up.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So you step back into the bunks, and I think it kind of creeps you out for a second when you step in there because you see the monks like sitting in a circle, like doing the chant again.
Ooh.
So like
Have I seen that before?
I don't think you were in there when they did it before. No. So it's just like
Ooh.
this same like
That's
Gregorian chant that they're doing, like in a circle. Do you want to make a religion check to see if you know what's going on?
Sure.
You don't know what's going on.
I am slightly unsettled.
Mm-hmm.
Is there?
Caleb, you have
Are-
such a
are we
smug
all-
look on your face. Those monks are totally evil. We need to go kill them.
Sleep.
So are we all staying in the same bunk room, or they're two different ones?
I think most everybody so I think all the passengers are staying in this room, and then there are other rooms for the sailors. So yeah, you're in this one.
Yeah. So if they're sitting in a circle, I want to go on the ceiling in the center of their circle and start dripping a water puddle in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, so I was actually going to also describe that they have like a couple candles like sitting in the middle of the circle.
Oh, it's a fun game then.
All right, so you want to like So do you want to sneak up there so they're not noticing you?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll stealth.
You
That's
said you
plus
had
2
nothing.
though, so 12.
Okay, here, let me.
Oh no! Come on.
You're wet, so you slip.
I wouldn't slip. I have my special slippers.
That's right. That's right. They don't make sound, do they?
Well, they make sound, but
Oh.
I'm.
Let's see here.
I just imagine you like
Climb.
sloshing up the side of the wall going.
Yeah, they don't notice you.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So I'm gonna make it a fun game of seeing how fast I can precisely get all the candles out.
Okay, make a dexterity check.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm bad at this game.
Yeah, so what I think it ends up happening is you end up like accidentally dripping water on one of the monks before, like you put out like 2 of them, but like what you hit, I think Clement, and he kind of like looks like forward, sees that the candles have like 2 of the candles have gone out, and like looks up, and then another drop of water like hits his face, kind of blinks, and he says, "Sister Yi, a pleasure."
I don't reply. He's creepy. I don't like him.
Yeah, so he says, "Are you going to hang on the ceiling, or would you like to come join us in prayer? I'm sure that the storm, we are, entreating with God to protect the sailors as they navigate us through the storm."
No, thank you. I like talking to myself in private.
Ah, well, I am sure your private prayers to the Lord Jesus Christ will be heard as well. And he kind of like goes back to doing what he was doing.
And I go back to what I was doing.
So you try to put out the candles again?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you put them out, and I don't think any of the monks like even pay attention or like do anything about it. They just keep chanting.
Getting dark in there.
Yeah, and now it's pitch black in there again. And they're just like chanting, and it's even more creepy now that it's pitch black.
Yeah, I made a mistake there.
Suddenly you're just in a room surrounded by creepy men chanting a Gregorian chant. Yeah. So I think we cut back out to the outside. We see everybody kind of like doing their thing and making sure the ship is running. And I think what happens is Saori, you're navigating, you're doing your thing, you're trying to go a particular way. You kind of lost sight of where exactly the coast is, where exactly anything is at this point, because you can't even see the stars. You have no idea what's going on. And so I don't think you notice until it's almost too late that you're going straight into what looks like a water tornado.
Oh, great.
A whirlpool?
Not like a whirlpool. It's like
No, like a water spout?
Yeah, water spout. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So would you like to make a vehicle's water proficiency with dexterity to no, with strength?
I was gonna say, well,
because this is a matter of like
you didn't, because I also have navigator's tools.
Well, that's the thing. You didn't notice in time to be able to navigate. If you had succeeded on the perception check, I would have had you navigated.
Okay, yeah. So vehicle water with
strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not super great.
So what ends up happening is we see the ship, we see the Starlight go straight towards this water spout, this whirlpool with a water spout in the center of it. And what happens is we lose sight of the ship as the camera like stays in one place and the ship like goes towards it, and then we just see a flash of lightning, and then we go to black, the sound of thunder, and then we go to commercial break.
Brace yourselves!
Oh no.
So we will be back right after this short break with more Terra Nullius side stories. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm sure that the monks will all just be the nicest people you've ever met, and yeah, nothing bad will happen.
So nice.
I'm ready to
Alright,
assassinate
sure.
them.
You'll get to the center of this water spout, and there'll be like a magical unicorn that like gives you food, and then just sends you on your merry way.
Grants us immortality.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure it'll all work out great, guys.
It's the magical list of the unicorns.
All right, we'll be right back.